My peoples, my people, stay with me. Famed, iconic referee Joe Cortez is going to join me in a few minutes. Break down the stoppage for us. So we're gonna talk boxing. We're gonna talk, with someone who's actually an expert as far as what a referee should do. Get ready, my people. Stay with me, my people. Stay with me. Very interesting conversation coming up. So, my peoples, um, I feel lucky that we'll get to have Joe Cortez join us. Most of you, or probably all of you, know Joe Cortez is very respected within the boxing community. We're talking about a referee that his words that he used to say was, you probably remember, guys, I'm firm, but I'm fair. So we're gonna have somebody that, not just somebody who knows his stuff, but Joe Cortez is a referee who was known for his integrity, who was always known for making the right call. Boxing junkie, I used to love hearing him say that. My God, you probably just like all of us, man. It got to the point where we used to say it at the same time as him. I'm firm, but I'm fair. So if there's someone that is gonna give us an honest opinion, someone who is gonna give us an expert opinion, it's Joe Cortez. And by the way, I also asked him if he could give us a breakdown of what the process is to actually pull the plug. And we all have our own opinions, right? But at the end of the day, none of us is a referee, right? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. At this point, I've spoken to no, yeah, three different referees, and they coincide with their opinion. So my peoples, allow me a brief moment. We just waiting on Joe, and we're gonna get it going. And by the way, if you guys have questions, once Joe give us the breakdown of what happened, what was supposed to happen, was it the right thing, was it not? Once he share that information with us, then from there I'll see if he could take some questions, and that's it. We'll see what we got. But we have to we have to acknowledge it, man. This fight, this ending, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been a controversial ending. I think this controversy, what it does, it takes away from what Fabio Wardley did, from what he accomplished. It's like, damn, Fabio Wardley, man, had a great fight. He was losing, was able to come back, and to have this be the topic of conversation, a controversy. It's really not fair to him. But it is what it is, my people. That oftentimes we'll see fans don't like the outcome of a fight, and that's what happens. That's what happens. They'll find an angle to argue about the results. But ultimately, my peoples, Fabio Wardley, One fair and square. John Parham, salute my brother. By the way, John, the live from earlier, it just I don't know what happened, man. It's been happening. They just boop. I just drop off somehow. Just do boxing in the building. Salute my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. We got Joe Cortez, iconic ref. Joe Cortez is gonna join me, and he's gonna give us a bit of a breakdown on the stoppage from Parker versus Wardley, and as a referee, that's his profession, and he was one of the best in the game. He's gonna give us the breakdown. He's gonna give us his take. Just do boxing, in my opinion, this finish should not have been controversial. There should be no controversy. And I even think it's unfair in a way for Fabio Wardley. Because think about it. The guy got the biggest win of his career, and all people want to talk about is that the fight shouldn't have been stopped. As if he wasn't doing enough to get the stoppage. My peoples. My peoples. This is gonna be a very interesting conversation with Mr. Joe Cortez because you guys know that he's going to be talking out of experience, out of actual knowledge. So, you know, people could dispute what I say easily, but it's going to be hard to dispute what one of the best referees to ever do it has to say about it. So, that's the, I think that's the best route, to take. Have the expert come in and tell us what's up, man. Let us know. We're gonna find out. My people, let me turn this camera around on myself so y'all not blind over here. My peoples, interesting conversation about to go down. Hold on one second. Hold on. By the way, salute to everybody tuning in. Y'all already know what it is. Jay Smith in the building. It's dark as hell over here. I'm gonna turn the light on, my peoples. I want y'all to not to be blind. Hold on one second. Bear with me, my peoples. Bear with me. We on it. We are on it, my peoples. My peoples. We here. And ladies and gentlemen, right now is the best time for you to share your take on what you think should have happened in Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley fight. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that was a legit stoppage? That's the magic question. We're gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get Joe Cortez's opinion. That's as legitimate as it gets. But go ahead, guys, share. Don't be shy, my peoples. This morning, everybody was saying what they felt about that stoppage. Hall of Fame referee Joe Cortez is gonna join me. Damn, I'm gonna be honest. I said Hall of Fame referee, and I'm assuming that. I'm assuming Joe Cortez is a Hall of Fame referee because he's one of the great ones. Boxing junkie. I think it was too early, in my opinion. Who else? Who else want to share their take, my peoples? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. And you know, boxing junkie, that you're not alone when it comes to that, because obviously a lot of people have been chiming in and saying that they felt like the fight was stopped too quickly. So, and I've seen it, not just in the chat, but I've seen it all over social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, different people posting about it, different media outlets that also agree with that. So I get it. I get it. I respect it. I will say, obviously I don't agree with it, but I respect it. People. I think oftentimes this fight is not gonna be the exception to what I'm about to say. I think that oftentimes, when a fight gets stopped and a guy's like not just completely out on his feet, fans think it was too early. If a guy's not like this already, like that's it, or out cold, people rarely think it's a good stoppage. You gotta be like taking a pummeling that people, they just can't take it anymore themselves. But I get what took place inside the ring. I guess I see it from a different perspective, because I've been hit, I've been dropped. I know that feeling, and especially when you've been in the ring and you know what it feels to block a real hard punch that also hits you. And if you've never been there, it might seem like he blocked a lot of those punches. You don't see. It's hard for you to understand how hard those punches are hitting him. Every single one of them, even the ones that he's blocking, unanswered. But man, I'm telling you, we'll have a whole different perspective because of that reason. Because, like, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Parker, Joseph Parker, is either in the hospital or at home, or wherever he is, just sitting down, calm, recovering, with the craziest headache, or with the great medication to control the crazy headache. I just want people to think about that for a second. They won 11 rounds, and it turned into a slugfest. It really did turn into a slugfest. So when you take that into consideration, you have to wonder, how is Parker going to bounce back from this? Christopher, salute my brother. Bam! So check it, my peoples. This topic of conversation is going to be interesting, and I promise you, in most cases, you're going to see the division between how some fans see it and how fighters see it, or how referees see it, how people within that side of the thing see it. There's going to be some fighters that say, well, let it keep going. But I'm telling you, the majority of fighters who see it are going to say, yeah, that needs to be a stoppage. That needed to be stopped. So, look, I'm going to be honest. So far, I don't think I spoke to one fighter who told me that the fight should have kept going. And I'm not even saying that there's no fighter out there that believes it could have kept going. I'm not saying that. I'm pretty sure there is. But what I am saying is that most fighters will say, yeah, that's a good stoppage, because they saw how many punches Joseph Parker took, how many unanswered punches. So there you have it, my peoples. Right now, we're just waiting for Mr. Joe Cortez, who's gonna be giving us a breakdown on that stoppage. And that's the thing about it, that as fans, and even me as an analyst, we're looking at it from the outside looking in, because we really don't know the sets of instruction that the referee is following, the set of rules that he's following to determine I need to stop this fight. We're going by our own opinion, right? We're like, oh, hey, what's up, Joe? I'm doing great. Yourself? Yeah, just go ahead and hit that link. Yeah, I'll resend it right now. Let me resend it right now. Hold on, my peoples. I'm gonna send Joe the link. My check, my check, my check. My peoples. Iconic referee Joe Cortez is about to join me. Like I said, man, he's gonna give us the breakdown. We're gonna get the breakdown from the guy. We're gonna get the breakdown from the guy that knows. Last warning, Jay Smith in the building. Salute, my brother. Joe Cortez is about to be in the building. That's who's about to be in the building, my peoples. And he's gonna give us the breakdown about this stoppage. Um, I understand why a lot of people disagree with the stoppage. By the way, don't get it twisted. Boxing junkie, it's a heavyweight bout. One punch change everything. You can never count out an elite heavyweight fighter out. Oh no, you're right. You could never count him out. But you're not gonna let him get beat up to death. You're not gonna let him get killed out there just because something could happen. No, so let me show you, Joe. You, hold on, my peoples. I'm helping Joe out so that he can enter the live with me. My peoples, here we go.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Greetings, Joe.
Good.
Um,
Where you at?
I'm actually in the Dominican Republic right
Okay,
now.
good. How's the weather out there? Was weather affecting you guys?
I mean, we caught some of that rain, but thankfully,
Oh, good, 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 good.
Joe, before we even get started, I want to say thank you for this opportunity.
Right.
I also want to say, I've been following boxing a long time. I've been a fan of yours, and I appreciate what you mean to the sport of boxing. You're known. I think one of the most that we know you for is your integrity. You're firm and fair.
Yeah,
Those iconic lines, we repeated them after you a bunch of times. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Joe.
good, good. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Um, so listen, this fight has been the topic of conversation across all social media. Fabio Wardley and Joseph Parker, they went at it for 11 rounds. It was I would call it a slugfest the way that it played out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the stoppage came in the 11th round.
Um,
Controversy. Some people say it shouldn't have happened. Some people say that it should.
okay,
So, as someone who's considered one of the best in the game, Joe Cortez, I would love to hear what you have to say about this stoppage.
okay. First of all, I remember watching the replay of it when I saw at the end where the ring announcer was announcing the winner, by technical knockout. I saw the guy going like yes, he went like yes. Yeah, he agreed with the decision. In boxing, people want to see blood and people see somebody get knocked out. Sometimes you let it go too far, you know what happened? You got to take him out on the stretcher, or sometimes they're never the same anymore. I think it's better stop at a punch too soon than a punch too late. If they want to have a rematch, I'll do a rematch. But I mean, it'd be a good rematch. But
Okay. Now, can what what is referee? What is the process that he's going through when he determines that he has to stop that fight in the
well,
11th
as a
round?
referee, you don't want to see nobody, you know, taking out on a stretcher. And I'd rather see the guy lose a fight by technical knockout. He was winning up to that point. But then when he got hurt in the 10th round, and then you could see he was shaking up a little bit, and then Harley went after him and put the pressure on him in the 11th round. The referee had no choice but to stop it. I mean, he wasn't defending himself. He got hit with so many punches. He said, "Okay, that's enough." The referee says, "I'd rather see him go home safe than to go home on a stretcher."
And and I agree with you 100%, Joe, because finishing the 10th round, Parker took a lot of punches, and then to start the 11th. Now,
Right?
as a referee, are you taking that 10th round into consideration when you're making that decision in the 11th?
Yeah, you said to yourself, "Okay, you know." What I would have done different was I would have went in the corner at the end of the 10th round. I don't know if the referee did that or not. I would call in the doctor to check him out, because I know he got hurt. So you say, you know what? I want to play safe. Let the doctor check him out. You okay, buddy? You okay to continue? The guy says, yeah, I'm okay. All right. Then you let him go out. But now he was hurt pretty bad. So now you got to stay a little closer to the action and get ready for a stoppage. Because if you start taking a punches too many, your job as a referee first and foremost is safety. If you would, then you have to jump in and stop it. I did that many times. You know, I did that many times where I had to go to the corner and you talk to the fighter. Okay, listen, you're taking a little bit punishment here. Are you okay? You feel okay to continue? He responds, okay. Yeah, but I think I would watch you close. But show me something. Well, I have to stop this fight. You understand? Now you're already selling your call as a referee. The corner man knows what's going on. The fighter knows what's going on. The fans, the commentators, you hear what the referee say to him. So you're preparing everybody. You got to sell your call. But you say, okay, show me something next round. If not, I'm going to stop it.
And earlier today, I actually said that I was live, and I said that, and I think that happened. I'm not sure if it did, but my assumption is that because of the way he almost stumbled into his corner for round number 10,
Right,
because of the condition that he appeared to be in, I'm just assuming that the referee probably went to the corner and said, I have to see something. Or is
right.
that not something that's done automatically?
They shoot done with all referees. I tell all referees, if you know the guy's hurt, go into the corner, evaluate his condition in the corner. Call it. You have a good chance for you to call it the doctor right there and let him evaluate him too. And then, okay, so show me something next round, buddy. And now the commentators, everybody knows the doctor's in there. The referee went in there to talk to him. Okay, the referee said, okay, we know he got hurt last round. Let's see what you got left in the next round. If you don't show me something, you don't protect yourself, I'm gonna jump in and stop it. You understand? Yes, sir. Okay, that's the way the referee should do it. And I'm sure the referee did that.
Okay. Now, in your career, is there a stoppage that you had where the fighter objected or the
Yes,
team objected?
yes. I'm gonna tell you something. And I'll tell you right now what happened. There was a fighter named Robert Wangila. He was from Ghana, and he fought a guy named, I think he was Frank Fernandez was the last name. I think it was Frank. And the fight was in 1994 here at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. And the fight was back and forth, going into the 10th round. They were every so often in between rounds, even though nobody was hurt. I would call in the doctor to check out the fighter just in case on both sides. And then during the 10th round, Wagila got hit with the punches, and he got with uppercut, and he grabbed Fernandez. He held him on, and Fernandez pushed him down. And he pushed him. I said, no knockdown. But I know he was hurt. He was trying to hold on, right? So he went down. When I said, no knockdown, he got up, and I got a little closer to the action. I got a little closer to the action. I'm a little here. And then he had Fernandez against the ropes. I mean, Fernandez had Wagila against the rope. He threw a combination. boom, 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 couple of punches, and I jumped in and stopped it. Similar to what um, 20 weeks did with the Castillo and Diego Corrales. Remember that fight? The way the
Yeah,
referee took
yeah.
it? It was something like that. I jumped in and stopped it. He said, "Come on, ref, I'm all right. I'm okay." And then everybody was booing me because it looked like he was winning up to that point. They were booing me. And then the doctor came in the ring to check him out. And he was okay. I said, how you doing? He's okay, Joe. He's all right. Then the commissioner called me and said, Joe, he called me and said, Joe, why did you stop the fight? I said, well, I saw something that I didn't like, the way he got hit with those two last punches. He said, all right. Anyway, everybody booing the hell out of me. I'm walking out of the ring, they were booing me. And the guy, he was upset, that I stopped the fight. 15 minutes later, they come running out of the dressing room. He's having seizures back there. He
Oh,
he passed out. So they had to call the ambulance back. The ambulance, it was the last fighter car. The ambulance already left the premises. And they had to call the ambulance back. The ambulance came back and got him, brought him to the hospital. And I went right away to the hospital to see how he was doing there. And I was waiting outside a couple of hours. They were doing surgery. He had a massive blood clot. They were doing surgery on him inside. And then Dr. Al Campana, who was the surgeon, he was also the ringside doctor. He came out of the emergency room. I was out there. I went up to the doctor when I saw him coming out. I said, Doc, how's he doing? He said, Joe, doesn't look too good. He doesn't look like he's going to make it. 2 days later, he died. Okay,
wow.
so do you want to see that or you want to see the referee jump in and stop it? You see? So I stopped it with only 2 punches. But if I would have let it go longer, he would have got knocked out and then go unconscious. Then they would say, Joe, why did you stop it when he got hit with the first 2 punches? You see? So that's why I said sometimes the fans want to see somebody knocked out cold. Us as referee, I'd rather see you go back on your feet, back home to your family, and come back another day and maybe a rematch. But safety first when it comes to referee. But those fans the next day, when they saw the headlines that Robbie Wagila fired in a coma in the hospital, but when the news came out, but he already had passed away.
Oh, wow.
2 days later, I'm sorry, 2 days later, he passed away.
Wow, sorry to hear that, man.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you telling us that story because they give fans a good understanding of what can actually happen.
Yeah, there was a fighter named Willie Klassen in New York City. He fought. It was back in the 70s, and I was gonna do a. I was going. The commissioner came to me in the dressing room and said, "Joe, I've been there my first year." He said, "Joe, you doing all these fights? We want to give you the main event tonight, which is Willie Klassen." I forgot his opponent's name, and I said, "Anyway, But then when the commissioner came up to me, he came with the card. He looked at me. He looked at the other referee. And he said, I'm gonna you give it to the other referee. He said, Joe, come outside. He said, Joe, I want to give him the fight. I forgot the referee's name. And he said, I want to give him the fight because he's an old timer. It's probably going to be his last show. But for the next show, I promise you do the main event. I said, okay, no problem. Went outside. The guy was fighting with Willie Classen, and his opponent was banging him and had him hurt. I forgot what round it was. He had him hurt, and the bell rang, and he sat down in the corner. He was out, completely out. The referee should have went to the corner to see how his condition was. He didn't do that, and then Willie Clausen, with the bell rang to the next round, Willie Clausen barely got up out of his seat. His opponent ran across the ring and nailed him with a couple of punches and knocked him out, and he went into a coma and he died a day later. You see, Willie Klassen. And that's what I'm saying. When a fighter is hurt, the referee should go to the corner, check out his condition, you know. And this way, I'd rather stop it soon. I don't care if people boo me, but I can go back home alive to his family.
And I'm glad that you said this because that's the same way that I feel about it. And I said it earlier. Fans are arguing that the fight should not have been stopped, but if they would have let it continue and Joseph Parker gets hurt badly, then they would be saying, "Well, the referee should have stopped it. Why he didn't stop the fight?"
Right, right. I don't care if people criticize me. I'd rather stop it, let the guy go home alive to his family. I don't care if they boo the hell out of me, but I know I would do something. I'm there to protect the fighter. And that's what Betty Kid Perret, when he fought Emma Griffith in Madison Square Garden back in the 60s, 1960, 61, around there, he had had Betty Kid Perret in the corner, Perret from Cuba. Emma Griffith was from the Virgin Islands, and he was living in New York. He was defending his title against Betty Kid Perret. But Perret and him had bad blood before the fight, you know. So anyway, he had Perret caught him in, got caught in the corner. Griffith was pounding him, and the referee. It took him forever to jump in to stop it. I don't know why he took it so long to stop it. Anyway, it took him forever to stop it, and then Perret collapsed right there in the corner. When he collapsed in the corner, he was out cold in a coma. They took him out on a stretcher. And I remember I went to the hospital to see him with Gaspar Ortega. I went to the hospital to see him. I remember touching his left arm. Yeah, he was in a coma. He had his head was all bandaged up. They operated. 2 days later, he died too. You
Oh,
see?
wow.
So that's what I'm saying. I've seen enough in boxing where fighters have gotten killed that you got to say, you got to stop it sooner than later.
Wow, and I guess you've done it for such a long time that you've seen a lot of different situations. Have you had a stoppage in a big championship fight that was that people didn't agree with you or that the champion didn't agree with you?
No, I just saw so many big fights, but I can tell you, Michael Mora, when he got knocked out by Big George Foreman, I was the referee for that. I was honored to be the referee. Foreman was losing the first damn round. He wasn't getting beat up real bad, but he was losing every round. The 10th round, he caught Michael Moore with a short left hook and a
I
straight wicked right
watched
hand.
that fight
When he with that
live.
right hand, bang! It came here short but quick. Michael Moore went down, and the whole world was shocked that Michael Moore, he was undefeated, 28 years old. George Foreman was 45. And Michael Moore, when I was counting 5, 6, 7. Well, was I 7? I said to myself, this sucker ain't getting up. 8, 9, 10, you're out. And then I looked
Wow.
over and I looked out for him and he was in the corner. He dropped on his knees and looked up to God like, thank you, God. He won by a knockout at the age of 45. But I was paying close attention to George Foreman because they told me that he wasn't, at the best 45 years old. I know 45 years old, but you know what? He still had a puncher's chance. He could still punch. And sure enough, he knocked out Michael Mora. Another one was when I read it both for Evander Holyfield. I did the first one and the third one. The first fight, Reddy Both took the title for Holyfield. The second one, the fan man, when they had a fan man came in to Caesar on a parachute.
Were you there when the guy came in with the fan?
No, 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 I was home, but Bill Lay was the referee for that, and they had to stop the fight for about 26 minutes, and they came back. So then Reddy Bull lost his title that night to Holyfield. Then for the third time, they called me back in to do the third fight. And again, another great fight. Uh, Red Bull beat Holyfield the third time. They both had each other down, but I'll pay close attention. And at the end, it was Red Bull who got the decision at the end.
Yeah, that was a
No, no,
tough
no, no,
fight.
no, no,
Tough,
no,
tough
no,
fight.
no, no. The third fight, I'm sorry, the third fight
It was a
when
stoppage,
it was
was
stopped,
it?
I stopped it. I didn't about the count. I stopped it when Holyfield went down the second time. I said, that's it. Yeah.
Did Holyfield complain about the stoppage?
No, absolutely not. Nobody did. Nobody. I never heard ever anybody in the whole world complain about. I stopped it. It was a good stoppage. He would have got if he would have got up and got destroyed again. Then they said, Joe, why did you stop it? You know, when he was down that second time, he was pretty bad. He was in bad shape. Why did you stop it? Like I tell you, I'll give you an example. Juan Manuel Marquez when he fought Manny Pacquiao. Juan Manuel Marquez, the first fight, he went down 3 times in the first round.
Yup.
I let it continue. Back in the old days, 3 times you go down 3 times, and any round, 3 times the first round, whatever round it was, you go down 3 times, you automatically lose by then by a technical knockout. The referee stops it right there. But I saw something in Wabander's Marcus' eyes. I saw that he was still alert. There were flash knockdowns. The last punch he got hit with when he went down the third time, it was a grazing punch, but he kind of like looked at me like, "Come on, ref, he hit me. I'm going. My glove already touching the canvas. He hit me. He looked at me with that, like, hey, come on, like Joe." He didn't say Joe, but I could see the expression on his face. So he reacted to that. I said, no, he's not out. He's still coherent. He knows what's going on. So I started counting over him, then he jumped up and he finished pretty strong in that round. Even though he had got out 3 times, he still finished strong that round. And then he ended up getting a draw. And Barra, the promoter, when they had a fourth fight, Barra said in the press conference, he said, if Joe Cortez, you all got to remember, if Joe Cortez would have stopped that first fight, he could have with the $3, he could have stopped it. Nobody would have said anything. But Joe saw something. Joe let it continue. If Joe would have stopped that fight 2, 3, and 4 would have never occurred. And Manny Pacquiao, the fourth time he fought over there, Marcus knocked him out. So now Marcus won he won the title. He says, "Hey, if anybody asks me any kind of money, offer me any kind of money to fight him again," he said, "I will never fight the guy again. I got my revenge. I beat him. I'm not gonna fight him again." Because the fight with Pacquiao and Marquez, they were wars.
But honestly, I felt like there was a couple of those, man, that Marquez won. But
Yeah,
it
yeah,
could
yeah.
go either way. They were close, but I felt like a couple of those fights he won.
That's right. That's why fight two, after fight one, it was they called it a draw. And let me tell you, one judge made a mistake because you're supposed to score the rounds. You go down 3 times, you got to score. The first round knockdown, you already lose the round, it's 10-8, right? The
Yep.
second knockdown is 10-7. The third knockdown supposed to be 10-6. But
Yep.
back in the old days, they were saying you could go no lower than 10-7, right? So one of the judges, he forgot, even though we had a meeting with the officials before the fight, and I tell everybody, remember, we go like a just in case something happens. Don't forget the 3 knockdown rule uh, is not in effect. It's up to discretion of the referee, the judges. You understand that? That means you could go to 10-6, 10-7, no longer. It could go to 10-6. If the referee decides to let it continue. So he went down the 3 times. It should have been 10-6. So two judges called 10-6, and one forgot because the old way was 10-7. You can go lower than 10-7. He gave 10-7. If you'd have gave it 10-6 to Pacquiao, Pacquiao would have won the fight by 1 point. So it was a mistake at that one judge from here from Reno, Nevada. And so anyway, that's why they had the second fight. And the second one was kind of close. A lot of people thought, like you say, they thought he won, and they gave it to Pacquiao. They did it again. Again, the people thought that Marquez maybe won the fight, and they gave it to Pacquiao again. And then that's why they did the fourth fight. And fourth fight, Marquez said to himself, "I got to do something more serious." And he hit it with that one right hand shot, and he caught him flush out of the chin. Boom, knocked him out cold. Manny was out cold for a minute or so.
Yeah, yeah. He went down face first. No movement, no nothing.
Right, right. And so the referee there, you don't count. You just wave it off, and you don't have to count to be. Something if you don't count, you call a technical knockout. No, like that, you want to get to the doctor as quick as possible. You tell the doctor, everybody come in. That was a knockout. Okay, that was a knockout. I didn't have to count. I want a doctor in there right away.
Joe, you're not the biggest guy. Let me ask you a question. You handle a lot of heavyweight championship fights. How do you earn the respect of the fighters in a way where you always had? It seemed like you always had control of the fight.
Well, you know what? One thing I learned is also ring mechanics. How you manage to move around the ring and whatnot. I took boxing so serious. I used to go to the gym and work out with the amateur fighters. I would move around the ring, and I would practice a lot with the fighters. But then I got real serious. I said, I'm do something different. I went and bought myself a professional boxing ring. I had a ring 3 feet above the ground, 18 by 18 square foot ring, and then I would bring amateur fighters there in my house in one of my garages in my house. I had one of the big mobile those with garages, real big, and I put a ring in there. And I said, I had a professional ring, and I had fighters sparring, and I'd be there with them. But in my own house, I would train every day. If I didn't have no fighters that day, I would get in the room by myself. I put on some salsa music, and I move around that ring like if I was dancing. Like I'd be moving around like if there was 2 fighters in the ring. I'd be moving, going to the left, going to the right, going forward, go backward. I practiced all my. I was like dancing in there. I love to dance. And anyway, I did all of that, and then when I go do my fights, I was sharp. A lot of guys don't do anything in between fighting. They sit down on their asses back home watching TV. They don't exercise.
Oh man.
They don't run. They don't nothing. They do nothing. Me, I was active every day. This morning, I weighed myself this morning, 154 pounds. when I retired from boxing 13 years ago, I retired at 160 pounds. So I still keep myself in shape. You know,
Yeah, but
I,
you're in good shape. You're in
yeah,
good shape.
I don't keep my, I don't mess around. You know, I keep myself going. I keep,
But
I keep,
oh, oh, yeah, you see
I,
the guns, my peoples. You see the guns. Don't play with
I,
Joe.
I still got my guards there. You know, I still
Okay.
got 'em. You know, I keep myself going. And people say, my wife said, "What are you doing, Joe? You're always flexing your muscles." I said, "Well, hey, you know, for an 82-year-old guy, I'm not 82 years old. I'm 82 years young. Keep myself going
Oh
all the
man,
time. I still got a little
Joe,
spark. Got a little spark of the old flash, man. I still got it.
Joe, you're in amazing shape. Hey, let me ask you a question, man. How do you? What do you do? What's your routine to stay in shape? Because you're not just in shape by coincidence.
No, well, you know what? First of all, shape is important, but mental shape is important too. I forgot about faculty. When I was a fighter, you know, I only had 19 professional fights. I only lost one. I never hit the canvas, and I never hit the canvas in 45 amateur fights that I had. I lost. I was 43 and 2 as an amateur fighter. I won 6 Golden Glove championships, the New York, the Eastern, the Spiders Glove, the national championship. And I never really got hurt. I was always constantly moving. I'd be jamming, moving, bobbing and weaving in and out, constantly moving. That helped me become a better referee. But I kept myself in shape, and that's what I told my wife yesterday. Come on, let's dance. I had some good salsa music on there. She said, "Come on, take it easy, Joe." I said, "No, I gotta keep going. I can't stop. I gotta keep going." You know, and I keep my mentally, I keep myself active, and I keep myself like today. I did a show with a YouTube like this. I mean, on the FaceTime with a podcast show. Some people from Great Britain. I did 1 hour interview today it was from 1 to 2 o'clock today. Yeah, I did one a day for yesterday for South Africa. I'm always doing interviews and I do this with you tonight. I like to keep myself active, keep my mind sharp. You know, I still got my memory, the fights that I've done, the the, the names of the fighters, what happened in, in both fights. You know, my dream was to do one world title fight. There was Aaron Pryor, Miguel Montilla in I think 82. I started refereeing in 1977. So 5 years later, I came back and did my first world title fight in Atlantic City. And my dream was to do one world title fight. I said, if I could do just one, I'd be the happiest man on this planet. And when I retired with 176 world championship fights. And I've been around the world 10 times, all over the world, just about every continent in the world refereeing fights, you know? So it's been an honor for me. And now I try to help out young folks. I have a young lady from Chicago. Her name is Delilah um, Ramos, and she's a amateur referee right now, but I want to get her to go pro because she wants to go to pros. I've been training her via, you know, telephone and conversation and videos that I sent her to watch certain fights and to watch the way I used to referee. Like Roberto Duran, I ran boxing when I refereed that fight in 1989. I remember there were 3 feet of snow that day in Atlantic City. And Roberto Duran ended up beating Red Barkley. And I said, watch that fight until I watched the Red Bull and the Holyfield fights. Some of the fights, I saw some clips of fights that I've done in the past. I look them up on YouTube. Oh, well, let me see how this. Some fights are very difficult to work. I said, this way you will handle a difficult situation. But the big guy, you say about the big guys, you know, I learned how to just push them. They punch it. I'll push the big guy. That's like Mike Tyson. I will push him, push him off balance, and I jump in and wave it off, you know. You gotta learn how to separate. I don't want to go in between him, break him, and go in between him when he's throwing punches. I push him off balance, then I jump in and I get the fighter who's getting hurt. I protect him, and now they know the fight is over. You know,
But
but
in this case, with the fight we saw on Saturday, where it's two big guys
yeah,
trading bombs, how would you have proceeded to stop that fight?
I would have pushed what's his name Harley.
Wardley?
Wally, I would have pushed him out of the way. Once you push him, I don't care how big you are. I push him, he goes off balance. Then I jump in and just pretty much the same way he did. He took a chance of getting hit with a punch. I try not to do that. I try to push you off balance, then I jump in. You know,
You know something, Joe? I knew that you boxed, but I never knew that you went undefeated.
no,
Do
no,
you
no,
think
no,
that
no,
being a
no,
fighter,
no, no.
did, did
It was 18-1. I lost one fight to a guy that
oh,
George
18
before.
well, still 18-1, you had an impressive record. Do you
Yeah.
think
I
that
look
being a
for.
pro fighter gave you an edge as a referee?
I think boxing did help me to some extent. I knew when the guy was hurt, and I know he was ready to go in. I thought I got him now. So I put myself in a position like when I was fighting, he hurt the guy, he got him hurt, and I would jump in, get a little closer. I said, okay, boy, and I jump in, I stop it because I knew it. He was ready to go. Yeah, so being a fighter did help me. I knew when the guy was hurt, and I knew the guy's ready to go. So as a referee, I said, you guys ready to go? Let me jump in and stop it now. Stop it. A punch too soon, then a punch too late.
Okay, so one last thing, Joe. One last thing. As someone who's done it for such a long time, who handle himself with integrity as a professional, what would you say to those fans who are saying Joseph Parker could have kept going, the fight should not have been stopped? What would
No,
you say to those fans?
I tell you, you don't want to see a fighter take it out of the stretcher. The referee did the right thing. The guy was winning. That means he has the capability. That not that he was getting shot at every round. He was winning up to that point. But you know, it says give him a chance to come back another day. Don't want to see the fighter get knocked out and be stretched out. If the referee would let it go and the guy would take it out of the stretcher, he'd be in a coma. I see too much of that. There's about 13 fighters that die every year around the world. You don't want to have another one just because it'll give a black eye to boxing. You don't want to see that. So you want to make sure. And you know what? I'm sorry, I got to stop it. You stop it. You feel bad for the fighter, but you know what? You did the right thing because he's alive. He's okay. And he can come back another day. But
Okay.
I mean, if people feel and they Parker feel like I was beating him, I want a rematch, and this guy should give a rematch because he was winning up until that point. Give him a rematch. People will buy it, you know, and
I
see,
agree.
and see what happened. I mean, how many times did Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier? How many times did somebody
Pacquiao
fight?
Marquez, we was talking about.
Yeah, 4 times Marquez, and Sugar Ray Leonard with Tommy Hearns and Sugar Leonard with well, you know what? Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler 34 once, and Sugar Ray Leonard beat him. A lot of people were pissed off at that decision by the judge. A lot of people felt that the Hagler won, and the Leonard said, "Come on, I beat you." One day I happened to be with the both of them at the luncheon. We had a luncheon, that afternoon, and I was sitting with Hagler. We had some lunch. Then that evening, I was having dinner with Sugar Leonard, and they both keep saying, "Hey Joe, come on, you're a referee. You know I beat the guy, right?" I said it was a good fight. Well, like I said, it was a good fight, man. And I said we Leonard that night, and Leonard said, "Joe, I whipped his ass." I saw you sitting up there with him. I had lunch with him today, but I whipped his ass. But so they still to this day, people still feel that the Hagler should have won, but Leonard was smart enough to throw the flurry of punches. He stole the round. It's around like look like he stole the rounds with a flurry of punches. You had a 10-second warning. You start throwing punches like crazy, and Leonard did a lot of that during that fight. And he might have swayed the judges. The judge made sure it was a close round, but he stole the round with the flurry of punches in the last 10 seconds to go, which is a smart thing to do.
Wow, man. Look, I appreciate you sharing these stories with us, Joe. And I want to say, Joe, is there an opportunity that when we have these big fights that are coming up after the fights, do you think you could join me for a few minutes just to share your output?
Sure, no problem. That they fight, your background there, you have Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. See, Canelo Alvarez, he slipped it up, he slipped it a punch. He didn't take it solid. He slipped a punch. If he would have taken it solid, he would have went down. But
Yeah.
that is Terrence Crawford, is it?
Oh no, no,
Canelo?
that's actually Wardley punching Parker.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's Wally Pipe. But that Wally looked a little bit lighter on TV. Okay, that's why I'm confused. But yeah, that was a great. I did read. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Parker threw a punch, and then that Wally came back and it came back really strong at the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look, I agree with everything that you said. I think fighter safety is something that the referee, the doctors, everybody has to look out for because fighters, sometimes we don't know how to save ourselves. We don't know how to say no. We're trained to
yeah.
fight. So we
Yeah,
need somebody to save us.
what I will start doing, hopefully in the very near future, I want to start creating a show, a podcast show, just to teach you refereeing and have the judges also talk about judging. the criteria in scoring a fight, your defensive aggressiveness, the clean the blows, the defense, and the regeneration. Those four criteria they use for judging the fight. But also teaching referees like that girl that I'm teaching for Chicago how to become a professional referee. She's a female, female in boxing now is coming pretty popular. I mean, the girl, it was pretty popular back when Layla Ali was fighting, and there was a couple of good fighters back in the days in the '90s, but now female boxing is coming back with a lot of the Amanda Serrano from Puerto Rico, and you got Katie Taylor from Ireland. They're putting up good fights, and boxing is coming back for women. So I like to see more women involved. Be that they're doing the the main events now. I mean, when Amanda Serrano fought Katie Taylor the last year, the year before that, Madison Square Garden, they sold out. Madison Square Garden, it was a hell of a fight. They fought like three times. I think all three times Katie Taylor had beat Amanda Serrano, but good fights. But I like to see female referees in there too, you know.
And I tell you what, Jake Paul is becoming a major player in women's boxing because those champions that you mentioned, they signed to Jake Paul,
Well,
and he's signing. He has a lot of world champions on MVP promotions.
Jake Paul is doing something. Some people are not favoring it, but you know what? He's giving money to Mike Tyson and he for Roy Jones Jr., he for a couple of fighters. And these guys are making 10, 20, 15, 50 million, $20 million, 30, 40, whatever they're making, big millions. The fighters can use the money. And so I got to give him a lot of credit for doing that. He has millions of followers on social media, which we didn't have years ago when social media was not popular. The last 10 years, social media has really been picking up, and fighters are able to make some nice income with boxing. That's good. And I like to see uh, more classes, more seminars, like financial advisors talking to fighters, so fighters can invest some of their money into some kind of annuities where they can invest their money properly. So when they retire from boxing, they can come back and be have some kind of a business going and not end up broke. So many fighters make millions of dollars and they end up broke. But having a financial advisor say, we're going to take 40% of your earnings and put it into an annuity account. So the investment, some kind of a business, real estate, whatever. So when they retire, they got something they can fall on, you know? And another thing I like to do with some of these world champions, I like to maybe get a few of those champions who are interested in making professional boxing referees or judges.
So when you put a bunch of money in, you don't know what to do with, he's just gonna spend it.
Right. Yeah, that's why in boxing, these sanctioning bodies and these local commissions should say, you guys are making X amount of dollars. We should take 25, 30, 40% of your money and put it into an annuity. So when you retire, you have something. And they'll say, okay, but a lot of fighters, a lot of foreign fighters, because they're not educated, and the people that hang around with them are not educated about investment, financing, whatnot. They say, don't do that. They're gonna steal your money. You're never gonna get that money back. So a lot of fighters are afraid to do that. So when they retire like Mike Tyson made $400 million, right? Where did that $400 million go to? If he would have invested half of a quarter of it, he would have been sitting pretty today. But a lot of these fighters, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, all these guys, they all end up broke. Where the money go to? You got to show them from the beginning. This is what we're gonna do. You're gonna go to your training program. You're gonna go boxing, but every commission should say it's gonna be mandatory. We're gonna take 30% and put it into some kind of an annuity account. So when you retire, you get that money back. But you got to get a lawyer, a good financial advisor to do that for you. So hopefully we can help these fighters in the future do that.
That would be awesome because at the end of the day, nobody who made millions of dollars should ever have to deal with being broke.
Exactly. Exactly. I bought a couple of world champions to my house, and I would say a good. I mean, Joe Frazier came into my house one day, and he saw my boxing ring. He came with his son, Marvis Frazier, Mike Tyson fought one time, and Mike Tyson knocked him out in 30 seconds in the first round. But what they would have some event here in Las Vegas, and I happened to be at that event. They had a fundraiser, and Joe Frazier was there with his son Marvin, and Joe Frazier was telling me about the gym that he had in his house in Philadelphia and whatnot. I said, you know, you want to see a gym? I'm gonna show you what I got. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna show you my gym. I got a professional boxing ring. I brought him into my house. He came in with his son, but he was in a wheelchair. He had some kind of back surgery, so they brought him in a wheelchair to my house. We came all the way through my house. He went all through the hallway, all the way down the hall. I had a gym. Open up my door to the gym. When he saw my ring in there, he said, "Oh my God, Joe, I can't believe this. This is beautiful." You know, and he saw the house that I had. He said, "How do you get this?" I said, "Well, I invest my money, and I learned how to save my money when I was growing up. You know, when I first got married. You know, I got different business that I had. But a lot of fighters, you know, I didn't go to college, you know, but at least I had a little bit of smarts in me to know I was kind of aggressive as with car when it came to investing your money the right way and doing things. I was not crazy about that. I was able to survive, and then at the end, like I am right now, I'm okay financially. I don't complain about all that. I don't have to ask nobody for a penny. I'm okay, you know. But I had some of these champions, several. I'm not gonna mention the names, but I have about 4 or 5 world champions come to my house, and they could believe that I live this way. They Joe, how you get this house, this place so big and whatnot? And I said, what? You know, it's an 18,000 square foot home. That's not a small house.
We could say that you've done well for yourself.
I'm okay. Yeah, David, me that picture behind you with me there, one of my fights, they have that picture at the International Boxing Hall of Fame when I got inducted with Mike Tyson, with Julio Cesar Chavez, Sylvester Stallone. And that's the picture that they have at the Hall of Fame by the wall in the frame. Yeah, that
You
was a good
know,
old day.
when I introduced you earlier, I said Hall of Fame referee, and you were inducted a while back, so I couldn't remember. I wasn't sure, but I was like, Joe has to be in the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
There you
Yeah,
go.
this is the International Boxing Hall of Fame ring that I got with I got that with Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Sylvester Stallone. And then last month, September 27th, I was in Atlantic City. I got inducted to my sixth Hall of Fame, number six. I've been inducted to the New Jersey Hall of Fame, the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, the West Coast Hall of Fame, the National Boxing Hall of Fame, the Texas Hall of Fame, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean, it was six of them. But the main one, this is what everybody wants to get into, the International Hall of Fame up in Sarasota, New York. That's what I got
Ooh,
inducted with Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Sylvester Stallone, Couch Zoo, and Dashiell Berenstain, and myself. Six of us got inducted. You know,
wow, what a group! What a group!
yeah, it was nice. It's an honor, you know. And I tell myself, people say, you miss it. I said, I don't miss it. I mean, I did 35 years as a referee. I did close a little over 1,000 professional fights, with 176 being world championship fights. You know, I kind of missed being in that ring to some extent, but I did 35 years, you know, and I did play. Now I don't have no ego, so I said to myself, you know, I got to now pay it forward and help all the other guys out there. So many other referees that need help. You know, the young referees that are coming up want to learn the trade. And everybody say, Joe, you should start a school just for referees and judges. You know, you keep just start doing that. I mean, I've been traveling all around the world. In February, they want me to go to South Africa to help them out, to be commentating, but also give seminars on boxing. You know, I just got off the phone earlier today with United Kingdom. That we talked about Joe. How do you like you asking me? How do you start? How do you do it? What can we do to help other officials out there, young guys coming up? I'm open for anything. Anybody has any ideas? Dominican Republic. My last pro fight was in Puerto Rico against a fighter from Dominican Republic. His name was Sal La Chapelle. Salah Chappelle, but Dominican Republic was my last professional fight. I beat him. I think it was a six fighter in Puerto Rico. It was Dominican Republic against Puerto Rico. They said, Joe, they would have put you on that. I said, I've been retired 3 years, man. They said, I was working at a hotel called El Coquito Hotel in Fajardo, Puerto Rico. And I was training at the local gym. I'll go to the local gym and work out every day. And the guy, Joe Martinez, said, Joe, come on, man. You look good. You sparring good with these guys. You're looking good. But one more time, one more time. I said, okay. I did it one more time, and I won. But I said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to continue. But that's solid chapter was my last pro fight.
So at this point, because you are in good shape, man, and I know that even though you retired, but you look like you're in shape that you could ref a fight if you wanted to.
A lot of people have been asking me to come back for one more. I said, you know who I want to do? I want to fight with Jake Paul. Give me $20 million, buddy. I'm here. We can do it. Jake Paul, come on, let's do it.
Hold on. How you wouldn't be willing to do? How about they're talking about the that it's already negotiations. Floyd versus Pac-Man, the rematch.
And you never
You
know.
wouldn't
You
do
never
that?
know. You never know. It would be nice if they called me to do that, but that's a joke. But you've been retired for 13 years, better come back. I can come back, but
They've been retired too. You can all come back together.
yeah, better come back. The tres amigos in the ring. You know,
And let me ask you. Go ahead, go ahead.
you're in a beautiful place, Dominican Republic. A lot of viewers that are listening. Dominican Republic. I have a good friend, Dr. Jose Colon, who's from New York. He's from Puerto Rico, originally lived in New York, and he has a place in Casa de Campo, there in Dominican Republic.
Oh, that's nice over there. By the way, most of the viewers are actually in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, all you viewers out there, watch my show, the Joe Cortez Show. I do my show every week here in Las Vegas for the last 8, 9 years. The Joe Cortez Show on YouTube channel. You can see it every week, every Thursday
What
or Friday.
what YouTube channel that's on?
Just call it the Joe Cortez Show. You put on, you go to YouTube and go the Joe Cortez Show.
Oh, the
Click on
channel's
that,
called that. Okay,
and
okay.
my
I'm
shows
gonna
come
look for
on.
it. Right. I'm gonna look for it. Subscribe right now. My peoples, go to the Joe Cortez Show. Subscribe. You know you're gonna get that sweet science from the man himself.
Yeah, I don't want to talk boxing. I talk about a little about everything. I like to bring everybody on my show. I don't charge nobody anything. I don't have no sponsors. I do it all myself because I love to help people out there.
Oh man, I appreciate that. And you know what? I'm gonna be telling people to tag Jake Paul and send this video to Jake Paul because you said it. You
Yeah,
said that they give you 20 mils, you're willing to come back. You can't take that back.
that's it. Give me the 12 million. I'm out there. I'll be out there in a heartbeat.
My
Yeah,
peoples, y'all saw it. The man, the myth, the legend, the icon, Joe Cortez said they give him 20 mils, he'll step in the ring with Jake Paul and referee a fight.
that's it. That's it. You tell me when. I trained Conor McGregor. I had Conor McGregor. I had him for 5 weeks when he fought Floyd Mayweather. So McGregor, they gave me a nice contract. I said, sure, we do it. Yeah. But now I'm ready to do that. Come back and one of the big fights here. Why not? I referee Jake Paul. You want me to use me for one of the big fights up there? I come back. I make the comeback.
All right, man. We're gonna be forwarding this to Jake Paul, seeing if you really are willing to. If they make that offer, you can't turn it down because you already say you're willing to take it and make that fight.
I like to referee him. Whoever he's going to be fighting next, let me be there to referee him. We can talk about it. We can help promote this fight to where people say, that's what we need in boxing. We need a good referee in there to to show the people that even though he's retired, I can come back just like a lot of these fighters come back and just come back and show what you got, a little spark of your flesh.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Iconic referee,
Mira,
Hall of Fame referee,
estoy
Joe
flaco todavía,
Cortez.
estoy flaco
Mm,
todavía, todavía estoy
todavía
flaco.
le fácilmente le mete una golpiza a alguien, fácilmente.
Teléfono.
Ay, ooh. Yo, Joe, man, listen. Much respect to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done for the sport of boxing. And I can't wait to talk to you again, man. I really appreciate you, Joe.
Okay, mi hermano, take care. Que Dios los bendiga a todos. Take care, you guys. I'll see you soon. Keep your guards up at all times. And remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up.
Ya tú sabes, Joe. Peace.
Okay, take care, buddy.
All right. My peoples, there you have it. Hall of Fame referee Joe Cortez. He gave us his personal take. Salute to Joe. You know, it's an honor and a privilege to have somebody of that stature. And he blessed us with the famous line right there at the end. I wasn't expecting it. I'm firm, but I'm fair. And yo, he let us know if Jake Paul offer that bag, he's gonna be in the ring with them. That's crazy. Joe Cortez letting me know, like, yo, 20 mils, let Jake Paul know. I'm in the building. Whoa, my peoples. I'm honored. I feel so lucky. Joe Cortez is someone who I grew up watching. I grew up watching Joe Cortez. I've watched his fights when I was a little kid growing up, and I was like, oh my God, Joe, this guy. And you saw as time progressed how he became one of the most important referees of his era. One of the guys that was in all of these championship fights, over 100 championship fights. Come on, my peoples. Boxing junkie. No, I'm fair, but I'm firm. You're saying it back. Yeah, I was close. I'm firm, but I'm fair. I'm fair, but I'm firm. Oh yeah, I'm fair, but I'm firm. He blessed us with that line right there at the end. I'm gonna have to cut that video and post it so people see Joe let us know that he's firm and fair. And I gotta say, my peoples, look. Oh, John Parham, you know why Raw Dog got sent to that 24-hour break? He close to getting blocked. He on some dumb shit. The reason he got sent for that is because you could disagree. If listen, if you want to disagree with a referee, you could disagree if you want. That's okay because everyone is entitled to their opinion. But then he's going on the chat talking about tell him to save the drama. Ain't nobody getting killed. Now you're being disrespectful. And y'all know I don't go for that. Y'all know I don't go for that. I sent them on a 24-hour break because at the moment I'm talking to Joe and I did it real quick. But I would have blocked his ass. So the next time Raw Dog say something slightly even funny, boop, block. He's at that moment. He's at that point. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz and more. Great interview, bro. Appreciate it, my guy. Appreciate it. I try. If you notice, it wasn't like, like I got a list of questions that I'm gonna be asking one by one. Me and Joe is more having a conversation. We talking about the outcome of the fight. Joe graced us with some stories. Things that he got to witness as a referee, fighters that he got to see die. That's why I mentioned to you guys that when you fall, when you've been in the ring, you have a different perspective because you've seen people die. You've seen what those punches can do. So now you're seeing a guy, and and it's funny because Joe said a lot of the same things that I said this morning, my people. A lot of the same things that I said this morning. You want to wait for a guy to go out in a stretch? You want to wait for him to get killed? Come on now. The Hydro Ground, Rodo acting out in front of the visit. Come on, man. You looking corny as hell, man. We have a Hall of Fame referee, and you over here talking about that he's being dramatic, that he need to stop being dramatic. Are you wilding, B? That's get you black material. Superman, that you did not like the comment, it was disrespectful. No, what made it disrespectful is that you have a Hall of Fame referee giving you his opinion and saying he don't want to see death, and you're gonna tell him to stop being dramatic. A guy that's been in the ring as a fighter, a guy that's been in the ring as a professional referee that's done championship fight, and you're gonna say he's being dramatic. Now you're being disrespectful. You needed to get blocked. He lucky I hit the 24-hour break button. He needed to get blocked right there. I will never allow nobody to disrespect any of my guests with some corny ass comment like that. You know why Raw Dog acting corny as hell like that? I'm gonna tell you. Y'all saw I posted the video about the fight. My opinion, right? And my opinion is that it's a good stoppage. This goofy hit me up privately telling me, nah, bad stoppage, bad stoppage. So he keep repeating it over and over. And I let him know, okay, you watch boxing on TV, that's your opinion. I boxed. I've been in the ring, and in boxing circles. This is my opinion. I happen to think that my opinion is better than yours because you never laced on a pair of gloves in your life. This nigga's comeback was like, yo, you run, B. I would ice you in 1 round. That was his response. We talking about the fight. That was his response. So I'm like, you know what? You a goofball. I blocked him on, I don't know if it's Instagram or Facebook. I can't remember. Blocked his ass. But I didn't block him from the channel because that don't got nothing to do it. He said some dumb thing over there. Let me let him slide. Let me let him rock. And now the first thing that he does when he comes on the comments is start the same shit that he was saying privately in the chat. So Raw Dog is a goofball. That's it. He corny. He look. I'm putting it to you like this. Raw Dog getting blocked. He didn't get blocked at that moment because I was busy talking to somebody who actually know what they talking about. And I'm gonna say this, my peoples. I'm gonna say this. It's okay to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at Boxing Junkie. Boxing Junkie doesn't agree with Joe Cortez. He felt like the fight should have kept going. But he didn't feel the need to disrespect a guy that's a legend. So it's not about disagreeing. Anybody could disagree. But you're gonna jump up here and say that somebody being dramatic and that and nah. We not standing for that goofballery type of energy. We not standing for that. So Raw Dog, he should just unsubscribe to the channel because the first time he chat, I'm gonna block his corny ass. If I don't remember to do it ASAP. Eye for eye. I too grew up watching Joe. I've seen all the fights he called off. Come on, man. We grew up watching Joe Cortez. This Joe Cortez is a legend in boxing, a Hall of Famer, a guy of integrity. And you're gonna jump up in the comment to disrespect. Nah, man, you need to get blocked. We don't need goofballs like that over here. The hydro grind. My mom used to give me the eye when I was acting out and tell me, wait until the visit leaves. Woo. You know when the visit leaves is gonna happen. You know it. Either the belt or the chancleta. Mom Dukes threw that chancleta like the shit was a boomerang. You out. So check it, my peoples. I'm glad that I was able to bring you guys, the opinion of a referee. This is not about convincing you. If you have your opinion, that's your opinion and that's okay. But it's about, I shared my opinion with you guys earlier today, and I wanted you to see what a professional referee had to say about it. And I promise you, if you clip the live from this morning, Mr. Joe Cortez literally repeated everything that I said this morning. He spoke about the referees are looking at the fighters, not just the moment of the stoppage, they looking at that 10th round. They looking at Joseph Parker wobbling to his corner. They most likely went to his corner and told him, hey, champ, look, I got to see something in this round coming up. If you're not defending yourself right, if you're not fighting back, you might have to pull it. It's a good possibility that happened. And then we saw the round number 11, how it played out. Joe Parker was getting pummeled. So again, based off of what happened in round number 10, what happened in round number 11, I agree 100% that the fight needed to be stopped. I brought on Joe Cortez, who happens to agree. And he explained why. What is he looking at? How is he assessing it? So this live, I'm going to clip some videos from it to repost it so people could see what Joe Cortez had to say about it. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I definitely, listen, I'm going to tell you like this. As much as you may have enjoyed tuning in, I promise you, I enjoy having this conversation with Joe. I hope I asked some of the questions that you guys would want to ask him. I hope this conversation was interesting for you to say, okay, there's a reasonable logic behind the stoppage. You don't have to agree. It's okay to disagree. But at least you could acknowledge there's a reasonable logic behind it. Boxing Junkie, Joe has two early stoppage on his resume. Tyson versus Kennedy in the first round, 1985. Mad people was booing him. A lot of people hated Joe for that. And you know that he actually told us a story. I don't know if you were on, where he got booed for a fight. And he was like, yo, I don't care. And I appreciate that. I don't care if people boo me. I don't want the fighter to be taken out the ring in a stretcher, or to be, a worse situation that can actually happen. Um, the Hydro Grind, great move for the channel. Keep it up. Boxing Junkie, yeah, I was on. Um, so one thing that I try to do, and I think boxing fans, everybody enjoys it. I try to bring someone who's relevant to something that's happening. If you guys remember when Rick Glazer went viral because he posted that Tank Davis was retiring, that was all over the place. Everybody was talking about it. Like 2 days after that, I actually had Rick Glazer come on with me, and we was talking about what he said, why he said it, and he's standing on it. He's standing on it still. Rick Glazer says Tank Davis is gonna fight Jake Paul, is gonna retire because he's gonna get a shitload of money, and then when he's running low on money, he's gonna come back and fight for a couple of paydays. Is it gonna play out like that? Only time will tell. But once again, my peoples, I appreciate you tuning in. Joe Cortez, legend, iconic, Hall of Famer. Salute to Joe. Much respect for what he's done for the sport of boxing. And you see it, my peoples. Joe is a down to earth guy. I spoke to him privately, but this is the first time that we speak face to face. You see the type of guy that he is. Gave me the opportunity. I'm not famous. People don't know me. He didn't know me and still gave me this opportunity, man. So salute to the legend, the icon, the Hall of Famer, Joe Cortez. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you tapping in with me. And everybody, I hope you guys once again. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I'm out of here, my peoples. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, man. We're gonna do this again. Peace.